I want to kind of pause that operator word, right? And we have heard this from some of the LPs or potential LPs, and LPs, of course. When I'm kind of saying these are reputed individuals or organizations who understand financial services, who have invested in their lives much more than you and I, or cumulatively the three of us have. It feels like the word operator is fairly abused, right? What is how should LPs be thinking about operators, and why are we so different? Or are we actually different, or are we actually just also saying operators?
The good part about possibly what we did is that we had no clue that there is something called operator from a thought process point of view. Why? Because whatever we did, we felt that it is an organic and right way of doing it, which
First
is
principles way of thinking about it.
fundamentally. In fact, I will say that for somebody like me, even the word first principle also was an alien word. For me, it was simply that this is the right thing to do. What does that mean? That essentially means that when you invest in a business, what is it which it needs, which via which it can multiply the outcomes for you and everybody else who is associated with that value chain. The foundational piece is that capital is a tool to achieve business outcomes. And if that is what it is, then beyond capital, can you help the organization achieve those business outcomes? I have sat with मेरे दादाजी की दुकान पे मैं गल्ले पे बैठा हूँ. तो when I've sat with him on the shop and the shop floor, fundamentally everything that essentially enables business is not just the money which comes in form of an inflow and outflow, but what really comes in is essentially the deep expertise of engaging with customer, with distributors from whom you buy material, to whom you sell, and all of that put together. Therefore, in that context, the idea of catalyzing the business outcomes is, at least in our view, is foundational idea. If you are not doing that, you are not helping your own capital multiply. And if you are not, say, among those VCs who essentially invest in 100 opportunities in a year, and if you are investing in 4 to 5 opportunities, then you have that bandwidth and obligation to essentially say that what can I do to multiply the opportunity for the startup that I have invested in. Say, in the context of a conversation that happened today, we got one of our portfolio startup to come. We arranged a conversation of theirs with a sizable HR consulting firm based out of Delhi. And we got them to talk to each other that what can they do that can enable business opportunity for them. So I believe that it is foundational responsibility to do that so that you can multiply the capital which comes to you, and not just look at the money that you put on table and leave everything essentially for the money only to be the driver of that.
Just one perspective also here is, if you see majority of the Indian venture ecosystem, you will find a lot of journalist fund, right? You will not find very verticalized sort of venture fund.
नहीं है अभी, like we
You
still
will not
have the
find
like,
many. There are many.
Yeah.
I mean, there are few, but not many, right?
Yeah.
Like in fintech side, if you will ask me, like probably 7 to 8 funds are there who are verticalized,
Sure.
right? And I think the operator sort of capabilities will come when you have that depth in the subject, right? I mean, if let's say day in day out you are doing only financial services, right? Or if let's say day in day out you're only doing D2C, or let's say you are doing only manufacturing, right? So the kind of network you will be also able to build in the horizon of the kind of time you're investing, that will actually multiply on a lot of pieces. This is something which is my
which is fair. Which is fair. And
so I think so what Pankaj stated, I'll just possibly expand that a bit more, which is to say that while you can say that there are, say, 5-6 VCs who firms who operate from a fintech point of view, the problem is that, say, firm A has maybe 3 partners who are out there who are running the show, They have an outsourced advisory body which essentially advises them on the fintech investments that they are making. There's a firm B, wherein again you have maybe two partners. One of them essentially belongs to a generic value chain. Another who belongs to the value chain essentially does not bring his or her own network. So the problem is not that there are no vertical players. The problem is that those vertical players neither come with the domain depth, India market domain depth, nor they come with the India market network. So if I am not in a position, if I am saying that, acha, so a founder comes to me and says that, boss, मेरी ex आदमी से बात करा दो. And if the partner of the fund says, okay, let me essentially reach out to relevant people who can help you do that, that essentially means that they do not come with the distribution capital of their own. So in our parlance, what we look at is that can I bring three form of capital, which essentially then makes me rightfully the vertical player in the value chain, which is I bring knowledge capital, which essentially is proprietarily mine. I bring distribution capital, which is proprietarily built by us. And I am bringing financial capital on top of that. That combination is practically not there from the point of view of fintech investing.